Welcome to my July reseller income report. The month of July was very similar to the previous month, which would have been June. I put in about the same amount of work, so the results were pretty similar. There are some changes here and there which we are going to get into. We'll also talk about some of the great sales that I had, which are items that left me a large profit and items that sold really fast. But of course, we also have to talk about what didn't go so well. So we'll talk about those low profit sales and slow moving items as well. And we'll end the video with an income breakdown and final profits as well. Starting off on a good note with the 7 sales that left me a large profit. And if you watch these videos often, you already know it's a pair of boots. It sold on eBay and they were these Lucky's cowboy brown leather mid-calf western boots. They sold for $120. After fees and shipping and everything else, my earnings was $86.52, and these boots took 5 days to sell. Like most other boots that I pick up, I paid up for these boots. I paid $25, but as you can see, even after that, the profit is still pretty hefty. That's why I love picking up these cowboy boot brands, but you have to learn about them to know which ones are worth paying up for. I've heard of this brand, which I believe you pronounce it Lucchese. I just said it wrong in the title, I think, but I googled it and it's Lucchese. This brand, I had it in the back of my mind for a very long time. I knew that it was a boot Bolo brand, but I'd never come across it. This was my first time, and the funny thing is that I found another one this same day, but at a different thrift store. So I went from never finding it to finding it twice the same day. And that leads us to this second high profit sale. It's these other Lucchese boots. They also sold on eBay. They were full quill ostrich western boots that sold for $100. My earnings was $81.15, and these boots took a total of 17 days to sell. These here I paid up even more for. I paid about $43 for these boots, but I was willing to pay up for them because it was my first time finding them. These boots were in very great condition, and they were the exotic type of boots with the whole quill ostrich thing going on. I did do comps before purchasing them because that is a lot to pay for one item at the thrift store. I was hesitant. Comps didn't look like very high, but I decided to take the gamble and just had it in the back of my mind that I would probably sit on these boots because they were also a smaller size and a size 7, and that's a small size for a man. So I thought that I was going to have to sit on them for a while, wait for the right buyer, but thankfully they sold within almost 2 weeks. Number 3, again on eBay. eBay was just popping off with these high profit sales this month. We had some Red Wing brown leather slip-on work safety shoes. These shoes sold for $67, leaving me with the earnings of $52.76, and they sold the same day that I listed them. Upon first look, these shoes really did not look like much. I was looking everywhere for like a brand. I saw something at the bottom sole that said Irish Settler, something like that. And I was looking inside the sole and everything, and finally I came across an engraved piece of text on the side of the shoe that said Red Wing Shoes. From there, it was an instant pickup for me. I happily paid $25 for these shoes because I had just picked up these shoes in my previous thrift trip, and they ended up doing really well. They sold for like $90 on eBay as well, and same day too. So Red Wing is definitely a man's shoe brand that you should be on the lookout for. Number 4, again with another eBay sale, we have some Dr. Martens vintage chunky platform black leather shoes. They sold for $84. Final earnings after shipping, fees, and everything was $48.87. These right here are one of my favorite shoes to find, and they're not really that recognizable. They look like they're not worth much, and usually I can get them at these thrift stores for like $5 or less, and they always go on to sell above $60. If you see anything that looks like this, make sure to look on the side of the shoe to see if you see a DM engraved, which stands for Doc Martens. They always flip on eBay for me, so if you ever find them and you have an eBay account, make sure to get them listed there as well. Number 5, moving on from eBay, this time this boot sale happened on Mercari. It was these Circle G coral crackle leather western boots. They sold for $65. My final earnings was $56.32, and these boots took a total of 25 days to sell. And actually these boots sold on eBay first, but the buyer returned them because they didn't fit her well. I immediately relisted them and they immediately sold again on Mercari. I initially listed these at like $98, probably expecting more like $80. These were some beautiful boots. They had some embroidery, wings, crosses. The color was just different, and aside from that, they were in like new condition. That's why I decided to pick them up and pay up for them. I paid up, I think, like $35 for these boots, but I would do it again because they sold so quickly each time I listed them. Maybe I could have gotten more if I would have held out, but you know what, I'm just trying to keep things flipping. Number 6 on our list, another boot, Ariat leather equestrian knee-high boots. They also sold on Mercari and they sold for $64. My final earnings was $55.44, and these Ariat boots sold in 5 days. Surprisingly, these boots were not priced up when I found them. I got them for about $12. Usually they will price them to like $25 to $35. This time I got lucky and found them for pretty cheap, but if these were $25 or more, I would have paid that much for them because I've never bought an Ariat boot that sat for too long or that didn't leave that much profit. They always perform extremely well for me, so I will continue picking these up and paying up for them, especially because fall and winter is coming. Boots fly off the shelf during those seasons, so I'm excited for those sales coming up. Number 7, we have some Rockies vintage Western mom jeans. They sold on Poshmark for $49. My final profit, or not profit, earnings was $39.20, and these sat around for 122 days. This right here is my third and last pair that I have of Rockies vintage jeans. I found 3 the same day at the same thrift store, and I paid $2 or $2.50 for each pair. This one here took the longest to sell. The first 2 did sell within a month or 2, but all of them sold anywhere from $50 to $60. So as you can see, that is still a very good profit. So even though these jeans took more than 90 days, which is the amount of time I like to get items moving in, I'm still going to continue looking out for them and picking them up because there's so much room for profit here. Moving on to the opposite end of the spectrum, we're going to talk about those sales that did not leave that much profit. Starting off with a Poshmark sale. It was this Juicy Couture floral print small crossbody purse. It sold for $10. My earnings was $7, and this purse was listed for 78 days. And the cost of goods for this purse was actually $0 because this was mine. I was decluttering my closet, getting rid of anything I no longer wore too often. So I got rid of quite a few purses, but I'm bringing up this sale just to explain how horrible Juicy Couture tends to perform for me. I have a dress listed by this brand that has been up for over a year. I'm just waiting for summer to end, and if it doesn't sell, I'm going to go ahead and donate it, delist it from all my platforms. And most of the time I do skip this brand when I see it. But like with any other brands, there's always going to be some exceptions. If I found a Juicy Couture velvet bag or those velvet tracksuits, I would definitely pick those up, and I would even pay up for them. Those are the kind of things that sell by this brand, but most purses and most simple tees, dresses, those kinds of things, they've been sitting for me for too long. Number 2, we have J. Jill Denim Linen Tensor High-Rise Chambray Pants. They sold on Poshmark for $15. My final profit was $12, and these pants sold in 51 days. This is very typical of J. Jill pants for me. They do normally end up selling for about $15 and take a couple of months to sell, but I do get them fairly cheap for like $2 to $3. So I'm okay with that profit. $10 in 90 days, that's what I'm shooting for. Obviously, I do want to have a handful of sales that sell a lot faster and for much more, so it kind of evens my month out. But right now, that's my mindset, at least $10 within 3 months. Number 3, we have another Poshmark sale, and it was these Nike Blackpink sports slides. They sold for $15 as well. The earnings was $12, and they sold in 5 days. These, I just listed them basically to get my money back. I bought them for $10 at the thrift store, and I was willing to pay up that much for them because they were in like new condition, and they were initially for my daughter. She didn't like the way they fit, so I went on and listed them just to get my money back. But if I ever saw these again, I would only pick them up if I got them for $2 to $3 because I know that they don't sell for that much on these reselling platforms. Number 4, we have an eBay sale, and it's these soft surroundings pull-on legging pants. They sold for $12. The earnings was $10.53, and the days listed was 196 days. The cost of goods for these pants was about $3, but even with that low cost of goods, the profit is not there, and that is way too many days to sit on an item. Soft surrounding pants don't usually perform this bad. I do sell them anywhere from $15 to $20, but they sell a lot faster. I think these sat around for so long because they were a petite size. They were small petite at that. So moving forward, I am going to continue picking up soft surrounding pants. I'm going to keep in mind the size and make sure that it's a larger size, or at the very least that it is not petite. And if it's $2 to $3, I will continue to pick up soft surrounding pants. Number 5 on the list is a Poshmark sale. It is these Donna Morgan bell sleeve chiffon jacquard tent dress. This dress sold for $15. The earnings was $10.66, and this dress was listed for 19 days. I picked this dress up on Dollar Day. That's one of the reasons I decided to pick it up, because it was so cheap, but also because it was a larger size, because it had the bell sleeves. I just thought it had enough going for it to be able to make a decent profit, paying only $1 for it. In the end, it was about a $10 profit in 19 days. I am not too mad at that. And besides, this dress sold in a bundle with a jewelry piece, which every time one of those pieces sells, I get so excited. I have so many of them, and I just want to get them moving. And that's actually the number 6 sale that was a low profit. It was this flower leaf charm layered dainty necklace, again on Poshmark, in that bundle, sold for $15. The earnings was $10.66, and this necklace took 34 days to sell. I paid $4 for all of the jewelry pieces that I have, so the profit is about $6. Not that great. I'm not too happy with it, but you know what, as long as they're moving, so be it. Number 7, we have area western embroidered a button-down plaid shirt. This top sold on Poshmark for $18, and after shipping, discount, and fees, my earnings was $11.72, and this top was listed for 119 days. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for this top, but it couldn't have been more than $4. As I said before, area boots sell really well for me, so I just assumed their clothing would perform just as good. I never imagined this top would sit around for so long and go on to sell for such a low amount. I'm guessing it was the size, because it was a small, and maybe this top is just not that modern. Maybe it's an outdated style. But enough with the low performing items. Let's move on to items that sold really fast this month. First up on the list, we have a Poshmark sale. They were these Athleta Brooklyn black pull-on performance ankle pants. They sold for $45. Earnings was $36 and they sold the same day that I listed them. The thrift stores that I go to around here usually price up new with tags Athleta at like anywhere from $10 to $15. But I am fine paying that for Athleta newer pieces. Below the material tag, you can always see when the item was made, so always make sure to check that date. If it's a recent style, I'm more likely to pay up for it. Older Athleta doesn't sell for nearly as much money, so I will only pick up older Athleta if it's only a few bucks. But when it's the newer ones, I am willing to pay up for them. Number 2, we have these gold-plated diamond hoop earrings. They sold on eBay for $19. Earnings was $11.79 and they sold in one day. And like all the other jewelry pieces, I paid $4 for these, so the profit is not really that much. If you don't know, recently I did buy a wholesale lot of 50 jewelry pieces, and they have been performing very terrible for me, at least compared to the shoes and clothing that I normally list. But the thing with the jewelry pieces is that it's not a bad business venture for everyone. But for me, I already have systems in place to process shoes and clothing. I didn't have systems in place for jewelry, which is a lot different. You'd have to get different things to photograph them well. I would have to research a lot and list a lot to get to know which kind of jewelry pieces will sell faster and for more money. And all of that is very doable, but for me right now, it's not something I want to get into. Maybe in the future, I will revisit this business venture when I have more time to focus on it, to refine the processes that involve these kind of pieces. For right now, I'm sticking to the clothing and the shoes. Number 3 on the list, we have a Lane Bryant plus size plaid faux wrap top. It sold on Poshmark for $19. Earnings was $13.48 and this top sold in one day. In the beginning of my reselling journey, I do remember picking up Lane Bryant tops. They went on to sit for a long time for me, so I had Lane Bryant written off. I would never pick them up, but Torrid was performing so well for me. Lane Bryant is a plus size brand as well, so I decided to start experimenting with it a little more. I've been picking them up more and more, and a lot of the pieces end up selling really fast. I am very careful though to stick to modern styles, no cold shoulder tops or simple cotton tees. Those kind of things I leave behind. And also for Lane Bryant pieces, the cost of goods has to be pretty low, anywhere from $2 to $3, because I know that they're going to go on to sell for about $15, $18, $20 for those pieces that are extra special. Number 4 on the list, we have this Fry bandana print mini dress. It sold in a bundle for $22.50. Earnings was $19.50 and this dress sold in one day. Fry is mostly known as a Western boot brand. They're not really known for their clothing, at least that I know of. And just like Ariat, the boots perform well, but their clothing not as much. So that's why I almost left this dress behind, but then I found another one that was the exact same style, just in a different color. So then I thought 2 for 1, that will be an easy listing. And then I debated whether to list them together or separate. In the end, I thought I'd get more money if I listed them separate, and then someone ended up bundling them anyway. And for these dresses, I paid a total of $6, so not that bad of a profit there. Number 5 on the list is this Hot Topic high-low maxi dress. It sold on Poshmark for $20. The earnings was $14.28 and this dress sold in one day. Hot Topic apparel or any brand sold at Hot Topic usually perform really well for me. I can get anywhere from I think like $18 to $20. $25 to $35 if they are limited edition or rare pieces. And Hot Topic is not really that well known, or it's not considered a high-end brand, so I can usually buy them for $2 to $3 at the thrift stores around here. They hardly ever price them up, and that works really well in my favor if I do end up finding those high demand brands from Hot Topic or those rare limited edition pieces. Number 6 is a Mercari sale. It was this silver Francie jean cutoff mini skirt. It sold for $28. Earnings was $24.09, and this skirt sold in 1 day. Jean skirts have been sitting a little bit longer than last summer for me, but I think what made this skirt sell so quickly and for a good profit was that it was a larger size. It was silver. That brand is a good Western brand to be on the lookout for, and it had the thick stitching, it had the raw hem, so it just had a lot of cool factors going for it. It wasn't just a plain jean mini skirt, and I paid about $3 for this skirt, so that profit there is great. Number 7 is also a Mercari sale, and this was some pair of Justin mid-calf Western distressed brown leather boots. They sold for $42. The earnings was $36.28, and it sold in 1 day. This sale actually happened through Mercari Local, so someone around me bought them. An Uber comes pick them up from my home, and they take the boots over to the buyer, and all this can be done within a couple of hours, so that makes shipping extremely fast. I love buying and selling this way. I really hope that Mercari can continue to promote this feature in their app and that it continues to get more popular, because sometimes you're just ordering things a little bit late, and it's so great if someone around you has what you need and you can get it much faster. But these boots here, I paid $17.50 for them. This is the second pair of Justin boots I sell. They both sold for about that $50 range, so I'm excited to continue experimenting with Justin boots. I see them all the time. Sometimes they're just priced way too high for me to pick them up, but if they're like $25 or below, I think is a good price to pick up if they're in good condition and if they have some awesome features, like if they're distressed or if they have some kill tie, just things like that. Now let's talk about those items that sat way too long in my closet. The first one being the silver jeans little girls Western blue jeans. They sold on Poshmark for $16. The earnings was $11.08, and they were listed for 367 days. I just told you that silver was a good Western brand to be on the lookout for, but I guess avoid kids jeans because they sit for way too long. I paid $4.60 average cost of goods for these jeans. Maybe it was more like $2 to $3, but even if it was $1, anything that sits around for over a year is not worth it to me. Next on the list, I'm going to give you 2 for 1 because this is a bundle of 2 tops, and both the tops performed terrible. It was this Nike and Lululemon athletic racerback tank tops. They sold for a total of $33. The earnings was $28.21, and days listed, the Nike one, 360 days, and the Lululemon tank top was listed for 221 days. I feel like athletic tank tops make it into these slow moving category pretty often, which is why most of the time I avoid them. Tank tops at the thrift store is the last thing that I'm thinking about when I go out sourcing. Occasionally I will pick them up, but the price, the condition, the brand, all of that has to be on point in order for me to pick it up. I paid a total of about $10 for both of these tops, so that makes the profit about $9 a top. $9 in a year is not the kind of profit that I'm going for. So that was 2 and 3 for you. Now we're moving on to number 4, and it was this Tanming lamb's wool blend Scottish plaid belted preppy skirt, and it sold on Poshmark for $18. The earnings was $14.40, and the days listed was 210 days. I paid like $3 to $4 for this skirt, so that makes the profit about $10. And because it took so long to sell, it's not exactly a great sale, but if I saw this skirt again at the thrift store, I would still pick it up because that whole academia, however you say it, that style is still on and popping right now. People are still searching it out. I think what made this skirt do so bad is that it did have a flaw. I didn't notice initially, but you know, after you put the item under lights and everything, that's when you start noticing those very small flaws. That, and also it was a wool blend, which is not a summer material. But yes, if I see plaid preppy skirts like this, I will continue to pick them up. And the same thing applies with this next sale. It happened on Poshmark, and it was this Sanctuary wool blend cream chunky knit pullover mock neck sweater. It sold on Poshmark for $18. The earnings was $11.72, and it took 171 days to sell. As we get closer to sweater weather, all of these items that I listed last fall and winter are going to start to sell. So they're going to end up in this slow moving category. But that doesn't mean that they're not great items to pick up. It's just that they've been out of season for the past 5 to 6 months. But this style of sweater is definitely a Bolo brand. The chunky knit, especially in the ivory colors, are going to be selling all fall and winter, so still be on the lookout for those. Number 6 is this Bonobos tailored slim fit plaid flannel men's shirt. It sold on Poshmark for $20. The earnings was $16, and this top was listed for 151 days. I picked up this top thinking it was that Aritzia brand called Babaton. I had recently heard that it was a huge Bolo brand, so that's what I thought this top was. And it wasn't until I got home and listed the top that I realized that I made a mistake, and it wasn't the brand I thought it was. I was doing some research on Poshmark though, and this brand Bonobos does do well, but mostly in their dress pants, outerwear, and cool graphic sweaters. Simple button-down tops like this do not really sell for that much. Number 7 is another Poshmark sale, and it was this BKE distressed camel trucker denim jacket. It sold for $28. The earnings there was $22.40, and it was listed for 6 days. This slow sale is one that I'm not too mad about. I paid about $5 for this jacket. That makes the profit about $17. A $17 profit on a jacket in the summer is not too bad. If I saw this again, I would pick it up, especially because we're starting to gear up for that fourth quarter, and these kind of things are what I'm going to be looking out for. Now let's discuss and talk about the final numbers of the month. The total sales was $3,737. Earnings after shipping fees and platform fees was $2,854, and cost of goods this month was $811. That's how much I paid for everything that's sold this month, and that leaves me with a final profit this month of $2,043. So as you see, the numbers are pretty much similar to last month, which is a good thing. I did not continue to drop in sales, but it's also a bad thing because they didn't go up, and that's what I want to do, continue to go up. And right now it's kind of stagnant. But that's the key word, right now. I'm pretty sure as we move into fourth quarter, things will have a major turnaround, and hopefully I can hit that $6,000 in sales in a single month goal that I've been having this year. But now let's see how each individual platform performed. On Poshmark, I sold a total of $1,712. So the overall numbers did not go down, but Poshmark numbers did. Last month was my all-time low that I've had on Poshmark, and then this month it went down even further. eBay, on the other hand, stayed kind of steady. I had a total of $1,096 in sale, and Mercari had a slight increase. I ended with $929 in sales. I listed a total of 178 items this month. That's an average of about 5 to 6 listings a day. Total items sold was 139 items. Last month I sold 138 items. So there's pretty much no change there, and that's why my numbers stayed pretty much the same too. Same goes for the average sale price. It was a total of $27.39. The cost of goods is still the same as it's been. It was $5.91. I really hope that me sharing these income reports on a monthly basis is helping you out in some way to learn what to pick up and what not to pick up. In the comments down below, let me know, how was your July? Have sales been up or down for you? And that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.